welcome to She is Free Night. We are so excited for tonight. It's going to be amazing. We have an incredible night planned for you. My name is Hannah, and this is my good friend Camille, and we're going to let you know some amazing things we have going on here with She is Free. First of all, I want you to get connected. We want to get connected with you. So there's some options that are going to come up on the screen. Click on that. Get connected, find out what is going on with She is Free. We can't wait to get to know you.
Yes, and speaking of connection, if you haven't noticed, there is a chat feature. So we want to know where you're from. We're in New York right now, but I want to know where you're from. Put something in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Say an amen. Say something. I'm lit. I'm excited. Emojis. We want to see your excitement. And also, if you want to find us on social, you can just look on the screen and we're right there at all of our social experiences. Social media handles.
Yeah, She is Free NYC. We want to connect with you that way as well. So right now, one of my favorite parts of the experience, worship. So wherever you are, whether it's New York, Baltimore,
your living room,
throw that heavy blanket off, okay, and get up and let's worship together. It's going to be an amazing night, and we're believing that you're going to encounter God here at She is Free Night.
The truth, hear the sound of the wind, let it roar, up heaven begin. Oh, you can't stay silent, can't stay still when relationships. I invite heaven into my family. I invite heaven into I-5 City. I invite heaven into Baltimore, Maryland. Lord God, we have met. Come and have your way. Come and have your way. Heaven invade. Heaven invade. Heaven invade. Heaven invade. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Worship you, Jesus. We worship you, Jesus. Worship you, Jesus. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. Yes, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. Oh, I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Yes, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you work it. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Yeah. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh.
Well, welcome to the She is Free night. I am so glad you are with us. And yes, it's a combined night with Irene, and you may be wondering, where's Irene? I came for Irene. Well, she is going to be here with us really soon, because I know if you read the email or saw it in social media that we have some very exciting news to share with you, and we're definitely going to do that together. But before we do that, I actually want to bring you in on the journey. If you've been a part of the She is Free journey since 2015, then you know the progression of everything we've walked through. And if you're new or visiting, if a friend invited you along, or if you were like, I got this invitation and I don't know really what I've showed up for, well, I want to bring you into the She is Free journey, and I want to remind those of us who have been on it the goodness of God through it all and where He is bringing us to today. The truth is I was in a place in 2015 where God had spoken to me and spoken to some of our team about starting to gather women here in New York City. So we decided to. We rented out this place called the Gramercy Theater, and we wanted women to come to be set free, body, soul, and spirit, to encounter the presence of God, to be prayed for with their sisters. And we were blown away that it actually was sold out. We're like, wait, people really wanted to come, and God did so many amazing things. It was the year that, remember, the song No Longer Slaves came out, and we just couldn't stop singing that song. And then year after year, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 5 years of beautiful gathering here in New York City, and God just doing countless miracles. We were kind of blown away. It just kept growing. People kept coming, many different churches and different countries and states. We were in awe of God. There was pregnancies that came out of She is Free, marriages that came out of She is Free. People were set free from depression. We had so many physical healings
healings and the testimonies. I mean, I could just sit here with you today and give you testimony after testimony of everything that God did as we gathered, lives that were changed. And the truth is we were so excited for 2020, weren't you? We all were. We couldn't wait until this year came. We're like, we're going to have 2020 vision. It's going to be amazing. And then we all walked through this massive collective grief together, this shaking, this pruning, this awakening. And there was not one of us that wasn't touched by everything that 2020 and even the beginning of this year brought to the table. It was really hard for us as a team to figure out what to do with She Is Free. We kind of knew, gosh, we're probably not going to be able to gather. So we felt to kind of lay the gathering down. And then we're like, okay, I felt like God was saying, let's do an online summit and go to the people. And then I kind of got rebuked a little bit by the Lord. He's like, yeah, that's not really what I meant. I need you to lay it down. So instead, what did we do? We just chose to take a week together when She Is Free would have been. And we did prayer and fasting for 7 days. And we had so many countries, thousands of women come together to pray. We had Zoom prayer meetings. What God did was beautiful, but it still left us in a place where we went, God, is She Is Free done for? Was that the end? Are we laying this on the altar once and for all? I've been in Isaiah throughout this year, and it's been beautiful. Isaiah 43 has been a real point of hope and encouragement to me. Now, let me set this up for you. Contextually, what had happened was, Isaiah was writing to the people of Israel saying, if you guys don't get it together, stop your idolatry, stop turning from the ways of God, there's going to be an exile that takes place. Now, we know historically that's what happened. Babylon, all of these different things took place. But then when it changes over in Isaiah 40 to 66, the story begins to change because it's pointing to Jesus Christ, the Savior, the new way, the Lord that is going to come to rescue and redeem his people. But the truth is Isaiah prophetically even speaks to us today because we have Jesus with us. Isaiah 43 was very comforting to me. I want to start in Isaiah 43, verse 2. Let me start in Isaiah 43, verse 2. It says this, when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. And when you go through the rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. And when you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. I want to encourage you today. I want to put hope in you because that is the end of Isaiah. Isaiah 40 through I believe it is 66. That whole part of Isaiah is about the hope of Jesus, the hope that we have, that no matter what we face. And the truth is, I don't know about you, but 2020 made me feel a little bit singed, a little bit like a drowned rat. Anybody else where it was like, gosh, God, I know this is your promise when we go through deep waters. What does it say? He's with us. We're not alone in those deep waters. Anyone feel out of their depth? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to keep pivoting. I don't know what to do with this grief. What about the rivers of difficulty? He says we're not going to drown. He is with us. He is for us. What about the fire of oppression, of that cauldron that we feel like we're in? He's saying you won't be burned up. We may be refined. I know I have been refined. The truth is, I want to prophesy this, and we need to understand the times that we're in. We are in the middle of a divine reset here on earth. And I feel like the Lord is saying to us, do you not perceive what I'm doing on the earth? I think what happens is we get to this point where we're like, God, just fix it, just change it, just let it be over. And instead, God's like, no, I am resetting things. When I prune things and cut them off, spring will come. Today, as you watch this, it is the first day of spring. It is the promise of new life, the season that is changing. And it's time for a spring clean in our lives as well. God is shifting things. He's changing them in our individual lives. He is resetting the church. He is bringing us back to the basics. But even with She Is Free, which is a part of the body of Christ, he is doing something new. I remember when Paul and I moved here 10 years ago, and we were in our apartment on Union Street, and I was having one of those really hard days going, God, why did you bring us here? How are we supposed to build a church in this city? I don't understand what to do with these 3 little kids. And I was crying on the bed. And I remember the light coming through the window. And I was just literally crying out to God and crying because I always cry. But I was saying this to God and he goes, Andy, I'm doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? And I was like, no. I don't perceive it, and I wish you would do your new thing with somebody else. And I just remember being in this place, and I look back now and I laugh because what I start to see is these cycles and these seasons of divine reset. That was 10 years ago. Fast forward 10 years, and we're in a place where God is divinely resetting our lives, the foundation of our lives, the church, and she is free. Isaiah 43:15 through 19. See, we need to perceive the new thing that God is doing in this season on the earth, this shift that is taking place in our hearts and our lives in the church, because we are the church, and also, again, with She is Free. He says this, I am the Lord, your Holy One, Israel's creator and king. I am the Lord who opened up a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with all of its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves and they drowned, their lives snuffed out like a smoldering candle wick. Now listen, what he's saying is, hey guys, do you remember all the miracles I have done for you to deliver you and set you free? I feel like the Lord is saying to us, hey, Andy, hey, She is Free women, hey, church, do you remember the great miracles that I have done? Always come with the testimony, but listen to what he says next. Forget all of that, but forget all of that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. Now, in this passage, contextually, he's talking about Jesus, the Messiah, but now we have Jesus with us. And Jesus always promises us that he is walking with us into the new season after pruning and cutting off and shaking. He's saying, hi, I am with you always doing a new thing. He's saying it's nothing compared to what I am going to do, for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? See, I will make a pathway through the wilderness and I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. See, here's the deal with this passage of scripture. We don't want to forget all of that. We want to hold on to all of that and what was, because what we walked through, what we had was familiar, but God is shaking us going, no, I'm doing something new. It can be shaken, will be shaken. We have to get good at laying things on the altar, laying them down. And Jesus is with us as we step into the new. He's saying it's nothing compared to what I'm about to do, but we have to let go to be able to receive the new of what God is wanting to do. He says he's doing something new. Do you not perceive it? It's already begun. Are you not aware of this? And see, I had to get to a place where I was like, God, I want to perceive this. Like the sons of Issachar in 1 Chronicles, where it says that they were leaders and they understood the times and they knew what God was doing. I don't want to be like the people that Jesus talked about and Isaiah prophesied about, that we're ever hearing but never understanding, where we're constantly listening and coming along, but we're never understanding or intuitively knowing what God is doing on the earth. He is bringing new life to things, even though it looks stripped back, even though it has been hard, even though we have walked through collective grief, God is bringing something new. So here's where we're up to right now with She is Free. Like I said, I could prophesy and talk with you and get excited about what God is doing in the church, how he's bringing us back to the beautiful foundations of building the church. I'm so excited, even though it's been difficult, it's also been beautiful. But the truth is with this pandemic and what the year brought, it literally brought me to a place where I believed that maybe She is Free was like done once and for all. And I laid it on the altar. And I was ready to let it die. And because, when you get into this cycle of grief, you're like, fine, we'll just let everything die, And I remember being there, but it was like the Lord provided a ram in the thicket. The Lord provided an open door in a way that I never saw coming. It was towards the end of last year, and we were wrestling once again as a team. What do we do? Do we gather? We have all these people that registered for 2020. We pushed their registrations to 2021, and we're like, gosh, are we not going to have the gathering or the conference, or what are we supposed to do with She is Free as a movement? And then I had this dream. And if you know me, I tend to dream a lot. God speaks to me as I sleep. Sometimes it is not prophetic. It is not God. I don't have time to go into a teaching on dreams right now. But I had this prophetic dream, and in it was my friend Irene. Now, she has been one of my best and closest friends for the last 3 years and has just been a pain partner and a good friend. We wear our hoodies and no makeup together. And we call each other when we need each other and just talk and do life together. And I had this dream, and in this dream, she was sitting next to me. And we were on a stage together, but it was very close to the people. It wasn't a high stage. It was like we could almost touch the people. But we were in this dark space. It was like a warehouse where people had to sneak away. And in this dark warehouse and space, there were people sitting at tables, actually at desks, ready to learn, leaning in. And I woke up, and there's a lot more to the dream. And I texted Jimmy and Irene and Paul, and we had this group text. And I was like, I had this, I believe it was a prophetic dream. And I would love to know what you perceive, what you see. And we all prayed on it, but I sensed that there was partnership with Irene and I, because we just so love going into the dark and the hard spaces with people, because we both believe in freedom and wholeness. And so it was like this dark place, but people that were hungry to be free, people that were hungry to learn. And I don't want to tell the whole story because I need to bring Irene here with me in a couple of minutes. But as we prayed, as Jimmy and Irene and Paul and I prayed, and I opened up to some of the She Is Free team and said, I think we're supposed to be doing something with Irene. So after praying with the team and Jimmy and Irene and Paul, it started to become very clear to us that Irene and I were meant to run in partnership, that our friendship was more than just being amazing friends and partners in pain and triumph and all of the things that we love to run through together as parents and women who speak and all of these different things we do together. It became very clear to us that we were meant to lead She Is Free together, because we are both so passionate about freedom, and we long to create spaces where the hungry and the thirsty and the broken can come to be made whole. But I don't really want to talk about that anymore alone. I am going to bring Irene on, and we're going to have a conversation and tell you more details about everything that is happening with She Is Free. Oh my gosh. Can you believe we get to do this together?
It's so exciting.
I know. I'm kind of freaking out in the best possible way. We've had a lot of tears, a lot of laughter, a lot of deep breaths together, even before we prepared. How funny was it in our hoodies last night?
I know. We're both like, okay, put the hoodie on.
Can we wear hoodies tomorrow for filming?
Let's zone in for this.
Yeah. But I can't believe we get to lead this thing together. And I want to say thank you for your yes, because I just know so many lives are going to be changed. Your yes in my life as a friend has totally transformed my life. So thank you for being the friend that you are.
Thank you. And ditto, seriously, you mean so much to me. I so appreciate your authenticity, and I love your tears. Your tears are just so real, and so authentic, and I appreciate it. And your vision for She Is Free and the foundation you have laid is absolutely incredible. And so it's the deepest honor. I wish there were words to articulate what an honor it is to partner with you. So thank you for all the years and laying the foundation.
Do you know what's crazy is, and even as we're sitting here talking, what's just hitting me is I don't even think I knew how much I just needed a partner to run with. It was like God knew. And so even when he's like, just lay it down, and I'm like, okay, is it over? And he's like, no, Andy, I know you. I know what you need. I know what the team needs. And I just, I'm so excited. But how funny is it how we met each other though?
I know. We were both fangirling over each other. So I heard you were preaching at that church in Pennsylvania, and it was an hour and a half from my house. And I had written down, I don't know if you know this, in my my resolutions for that year.
I know. See,
that I was
I need
going
to
meet
get better.
you.
See, I'm already learning. I need to actually write resolutions. You really do that?
I wrote it down because I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I had read She Is Free. And I was like, this woman speaks my language. I got to meet her one day. So I just wrote it down along with 2 other people that I wanted to meet that year. When I found out you were an hour and a half away, I got in my car and I drove to that conference.
Okay, what is so funny is when I heard, they're like, oh, Irene Rollins is coming. And I was like, oh, I don't usually, I don't get nervous, to speak usually. It's not, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just is one of those things. But when I heard you were coming, I was like, oh,
so
no, but seriously, I had heard you, I think it was an art conference or something, you and Jimmy speak together. And I was like, this woman is so powerful. The way that she thinks, even the stuff that you guys did for outreach and track and field. And I was kind of like, who is this woman who thinks so differently about loving her community? I just need to know her. And so when she said you were going to be there, I literally got nervous. And then I saw you in the front row and I was speaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, hi.
So it's cool to know the people who are hosting the conference.
Yeah, thank God.
Because I was able to lean over and say, hey, can you just make arrangements for us to meet up?
Yeah, we need to hang out.
You know? And then we went to dinner and it was fun.
It was super fancy. Was like Applebee's. It was our fancy Applebee's best friends forever.
Yes. That was good time.
That was.
Yes.
It was actually so meaningful though. It was kind of one of those moments, and we were even talking about this yesterday, how you have this beautiful way of going first. And, you know, I have had a lot of brokenness that I have had to work through. Gosh, things when it comes to relationships and friendships, right? And so I was excited to meet you, but I was also really willing to like keep it at a distance. I was like, I would love to be your real friend, but I don't know how to always do that the best. And you went first. Your story is so vulnerable and powerful. And the more that you opened up to me and the more that I watched you be authentic in your walk with God, I was like, gosh, I think I could run with this girl. And I had the great honor at the end of last year of surprising you. And we showed up at your home. That video is one of my favorite videos. I put it on a loop to watch it and laugh. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you were so funny.
But so before you came on, I was telling everybody about the dream that I had. Yeah. And I remember when I texted you and Jimmy about that dream, and Paul, we were in the group text, and I was like, if you guys get anything from this dream, let me know. Well, when we came to Baltimore to surprise you for being 5 years sober, how many months, days is it today?
I'm 5 years, 3 months sober.
Come on. 5 years, 3 months sober. And so we got to sneak into your house. But I remember when Jimmy came to pick me and a couple of the other girls up that were coming to surprise you, he kind of leans over, he goes, hey, Andy, I'll tell you what that dream means. And I love Jimmy because I love how he's just so prophetic.
To the point.
He just gets to the point. He's straightforward. He goes, I'll tell you what that dream means. And I was like, tell me, because I was curious.
Yeah.
I love when people, you know, and he goes, you know what? He goes, I think you guys are meant to lead She Is Free together. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I think you're right. And it was like one of those resonance moments. And then I sat in that room after we surprised you, and everyone was honoring you for 5 years sober. Your kids, God, I could not stop bawling as they honored you. But I don't know if you noticed this, but literally people kept saying, she is free. She is free. I was like, listen, Lord, I am getting it. Do you remember that? But I would love for the people that are watching today, a part of this She Is Free night, who are maybe new to your journey, maybe you can share a little bit, because you live this. That's the thing I love about you. From the day I met you, I was like, this girl She Is Free. Like, you live the vision. You are free. So maybe you can tell the people a little bit about your story.
Sure. I mean, you know, 5 years, 3 months did not come easy. I was a completely different person 5 years and 3 months ago, completely different person. I was a wreck. Going into rehab, a treatment center that specialized in, helping people get free from addiction through the lenses of trauma. I thought I was there for just the trauma piece, because I have PTSD and a whole bunch of, sexual abuse things that happened in my childhood that were coming up that I needed to take care of. And I had been medicating with alcohol. And the thing is, the crazy thing about my situation is, I abused alcohol in when I was young. But I gave my life to Jesus. Just didn't drink all through my 20s, popping out babies, right? Well, the Bible says not to conform to the things of this world. And I did. A glass of wine here or there. Like, what's the big deal with that, right? Like, the customs of this world are that's okay. Well, for me, it wasn't. And I found out very quickly. I think 6 years is pretty quick to go from drinking a glass of wine with dinner
like here or there to
a bottle and a half a night just to satisfy me. Sometimes more. If my husband was out of town, I could,
you could sneak it. You could hide it.
More.
There was ways to do it when people didn't notice.
And so as the years went on and I had all these undealt with issues and I was beginning to unravel, I medicated more and more. The stresses of life came. I medicated more and more. Reality of people died. Faced betrayal, just like everybody else on this planet. Just like everyone
else does, but you weren't figuring out a way to work it through. You were medicating still.
Right. And so when you numb one emotion, I was trying to numb my sadness. I was trying to numb my anxiety. But what I did not realize, I numbed all my emotions. And I was so unaware of what addiction does.
Yeah.
And my family was so unaware, so they didn't recognize it. We didn't recognize it as addiction. We just thought, my kids and my husband just thought, oh, she's choosing alcohol over us.
Wow.
And I just knew that I needed it. I felt like they were trying to take it away from me.
Yeah.
My best friend, my temporary, confidence,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. So I hid it. And then when I started hiding it, actually, that was the beginning of my demise.
Yeah.
So the more I abused it, the more dependent I got.
Yeah.
It took about 6 years before I finally was like, I couldn't go 24 hours without the shakes, without craving. And I was also a closet, like I like to call it, a closet alcoholic, just being that I was a leader in a church. I couldn't drink in public, because I thought, people would judge me because I'm a church leader. So I hid it at home. Again, all of these things compounded over time. Yeah. Hit rock bottom, but hitting rock bottom was actually the best thing that ever happened to me because I had no idea what freedom looked like. So before I...
And you probably... Can I ask you this? Did you feel like you were free? Like, I'm free.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I'm good.
I literally was like, I'm free. I'm saved. I'm sanctified.
I'm a leader
I
in a
love
church.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I serve him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet I was so unhappy on the inside that I was suicidal.
Yeah.
And so I needed help. And after the intervention and getting into treatment, we began this journey as a family of getting free.
It has been the most beautiful because I only know you. I only know the fruit of your freedom. Isn't that crazy?
I'm telling you, you would not recognize me.
Honestly,
from 5 years
because when
ago.
Jimmy goes there and says some stuff, I'm like, Jimmy, that can't be true.
Yeah.
Like how he was, how you were toward each other. And that's why I think even when your kids honored you, because the people that are closest to you see the mess.
They see
so when they
everything.
honor you and see the health and the fruit anyway, sorry, I just totally jumped in, but that is the crazy thing.
Yeah. And I think just that whole question, and when I read She Is Free, when I read your book, I felt compelled to ask myself this question: are you really free? Are you? And what I have come to find out, what I've learned, is that through every season of life, there is another layer that has to come off for us to live this abundant life that God has called us to live.
Yeah.
And he wants us all free, but you know what? Being the loving Father that he is, he won't take it all off all at once. No. He wants us to do it slowly and in his time to deal with these things, the baggage that we have in our backpacks of life.
Because we have these beautiful encounter moments, but then we have to learn how to steward freedom, right? Or these beautiful revelation moments, or even you go to rehab, but then you have to come home and figure out how do I walk in this freedom? And what I get excited about, because we are now leading the She Is Free movement together, not just the conference, the movement, there's going to be so much more that's going to happen out of this, is that people are going to get to know more and more and more of your story. And I know that there are people listening, watching right now that are going, am I really free? They're probably asking that question too. And I just want to say to all of those people that are listening, we want to walk with you. We have a company of women that want to walk with them, that we can do this together. Because where I'm at in my life right now, and there are things that God's like, hey, Andy, you've got to deal with this. And you were my person. Who did I call? And I was like, Irene, can I call you? I have a few things I'm really scared to say, but I need to open up about this, and I need to walk this out with you. And so I'm excited for people to know more of your story, more of your walk in freedom. And I think even thinking about you and I now leading the She Is Free movement together, I think it's the fruit of our friendship. It wasn't, there's this God purpose that's come out of friendship. And I think even for the women that are watching right now are going, we're not meant to do this stuff alone.
No, you absolutely can't do it alone.
You actually can't.
Yeah.
And we've been through a year of isolation, and God is like, hey, ladies, it's time to come back together. It's time to open your hearts up to do this together. And I think even for you and I, it's important that we don't just talk about doing this together, but we work that out.
Yes.
And I also think that you have got this beautiful gift of putting legs on freedom. So, you know what I mean? The practicalities of freedom, I feel like this is why I love our friendship and our partnership is I'm like, okay, everybody, like, come to the presence of the Lord. Like, let's encounter him. Like, let's prophesy. Like, I get excited about that. And then you've got this way, almost like this beautiful, powerful general that comes in and goes, okay, so here's the plan.
General.
You are. You're
like
such
that.
a general. How you come in with this powerful plan of how to steward freedom. Because even we're working a plan together right now.
Yeah.
And I know I asked you if it was okay to share this, but
Please,
you said to me, you're like, hey, I'm going to start a recovery group. Do you want to be in that? And I said, yeah. So we're in Celebrate Recovery together.
Yes.
I didn't just come to you and open up my heart and go, I've got some issues I need to deal with. You're like, okay, well, what's the game plan here?
Like, what are we going to actually do about it?
You're a good friend, Eileen.
Yeah, because you don't break a cycle. Like, you can't heal a wound that you won't say is there, right?
That
it
right
says
there.
in the book of Jeremiah, right?
Yep.
Like, you have to call the wound what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have to administer the antiseptic and put the Neosporin on it and then put the bandage on it. Then it can begin to heal, right?
Yeah.
So I love the work that we're doing together. We've and that's the thing that I'm so excited about for She Is Free, like with your prophetic voice, with the way you communicate that is so beautiful and so powerful. The spiritual, the God component is critical to this journey of freedom. Then there is also from the Bible, from the 12 steps or whatever, how many steps, but it's a process of freedom. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes work. God is a fan of the process. And people don't know this, but the 12 steps that came out of AA, like literally they came out of the Beatitudes. Like literally all it is admitting the 12 steps are a way of reprogramming our brains.
To be transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do that through admitting our weakness so the grace of God can come in. Recognizing step 2 that we can't do it without a power greater than ourselves.
That's right.
You know, that we can't do it without people. We got to make amends with people. We got to be quick to acknowledge our character defects and address them. So like that's what we're doing in Celebrate Recovery, our small group. Like I love it because we're dealing with it's not just about addiction. You have learned hurts, hang-ups, habits.
Yes, the 3 H's. I was like, oh my gosh, that's where I've heard this before. The hurts, hang-ups, and habits. And I think that again, this is why I love you so much, is that you, in a time where I was like a bleeding wound, you're like, okay, so let's do something about this. And you also have given me a couple other suggestions. I'm working the problem with those things too, the things that I'm dealing with. And I'm excited too that we have this hope that we can bring Celebrate Recovery to She Is Free. Have She Is Free Celebrate Recovery groups in the future and a ton of other things that we're dreaming about, but that'll come in due time. But I think that is the thing that I love about you. You make me a better woman. You make me a better wife. You make me a better daughter and sister and mother. But for real, because I get excited, like sitting like at dinner, like last night, because Wednesday night is when we gather. Is I'm like, okay, guys, I've got to go to recovery. Like I love actually telling my kids that I am doing this because of what that says to them.
Yes.
So
it says to them that we are imperfect beings. We need a savior.
Perfect, amazing God.
And we need a savior.
Yes.
And he has called us to live this abundant life, but we can't do it unless we acknowledge our brokenness and our need for him. And allow him to walk us through a process.
Because we want to walk in freedom, but we're trying to, that's the biggest thing that concerns me sometimes when I look out at the generations, not just one generation, the generations alive today, is we're trying to save ourselves without the Savior. And we can't be free. We can't be in community. We can't be in reconciliation. We can't do any of it without him and without working it together. And I'm so excited about the encounter and the equipping and everything that we have planned together. I think too, even with friendship, we were talking about this too, about how sometimes we've got these friends right in front of us, right? But we miss it. We completely
and we're lonely and woe is me and
we want someone else it's like dating almost. right? Isn't it funny?
Yeah,
It's like dating a little bit. You're like, you want someone else to make the first move.
Yeah.
You want someone else. You're like, I feel so alone. Like, why did no one greet me properly on the door at church? Or why didn't, we have a million reasons why. Or we won't get into community or discipleship groups or whatever because we just want someone to bring us in, which I think that's important too. I want to be the sort of person that is engaging people and bringing them in. But even if they're not, like, maybe you can
assume you're welcome.
I like that.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a really good way of thinking too. It's like, hello, I'm a child of God. Of course I'm welcome.
Just assume you're welcome.
I love that. But what would you say to the woman that is listening today that it's like maybe they do have some of their best friends that are standing right in front of them, but they just don't know it yet? Because even with you, like it took a little bit of time, but the moment I realized you are safe and I can trust you, I'm so grateful to God for you.
Yeah, and I'm grateful to you. Like literally, the enemy would love for us to just completely isolate because that's when he can do his best work in our minds. When we're isolated to ourselves, he plays tricks on our mind. So like COVID, we fought that like because we were isolated because of the pandemic. But as women, because of our hurts, we don't want to make that first move, like you said. And what I really have realized in my adulthood is I can either choose to be isolated and lonely, woe is me, or I can choose to put my neck out there and take the risk to love again. Yeah. And it's the same amount of work for both.
Wow, that's kind of true. Just depends on which work you want.
So which work do you want? I'm like, I'd rather just do the work of mustering up the courage to say, hey, I'm going to drive to go see if I can meet Andy Andrew. You know what I'm saying? Because for the way she writes, we're supposed to be friends. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I had to put myself out there. And what we have found in our relationship, like in sharing, being an authentic, is just that whole like-minded people, iron sharpening iron. We both now understand the recovery talk. You didn't know a whole lot about it.
I didn't have that language, but I was like, what is it about you?
You got curious.
Exactly. Yes. I was like, I love that. Like, there's certain things that I had done well. I was like, I need to grow. I'm hitting, like, I need some cycles to be broken.
Yes.
God is doing a new thing. He's resetting some things in my life. Yes. But I can't expect to change and God to do this new thing. Hello, this is
doing
all about
the same thing though.
No, that's the definition of
insanity.
Hello, we just did that in recovery too.
Yesterday's lesson.
Yes, it was. But it is. It's that's the definition of insanity. And I think that's where I was getting frustrated. So I did get curious. And then you opened a door. And shared my journey. And that's what testimony, sharing the word, it's sharing our testimony, sharing our story. We don't realize how we're saving someone's life. Like just by sharing our story, like the word testimony actually means do again. So you're giving somebody else hope that what he did for me, he'll do for you. And I think just in that, in the scope of friendship, I think just being a good listener, leaning in to listen and learn, and being a vault, and really just sharing openly and honestly, and that's even with I love in Celebrate Recovery too, how you go when you quietly listen, no crosstalk.
No cross.
But then you also, I'm trying to teach my kids at the dinner table.
Yeah, it's true. You can
for real.
Yeah.
But then I love that. Thank you for sharing. Like the honor that is in that line of thank you for sharing is so powerful. Well, I want you to speak to the women of She Is Free. Maybe those that are already bought in. They're like, I love She Is Free. I've been a part of it the last 5 years. And maybe those that are new to it. What is your hope for She Is Free? What do you see?
My hope and prayers that people would encounter God.
Yeah.
Come to know the freeing power of Jesus Christ. So whether they know him already or don't, my prayer is that people who know Jesus will bring and invite people who don't.
Yes.
So that they can come to know the freeing power of Jesus Christ and just allow God to have that encounter moment. And then I feel like this whole bridging of the gap between the psychological world, like I believe that science is finally catching up to the Bible.
Oh,
I do believe that.
Yes.
Because everything I learned in rehab, from addiction, overcoming addiction, trauma, all of these things, and how to recover from them, it's all in the Word of God.
Yeah.
So bridging that gap, people not being ashamed of their story. No matter how ugly and disgusting that story may feel for each of us, you know, individually, just being able to face the facts of the reality of our past and prepare a way to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And my hope and my prayers that women would be able to get honest.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be authentic with everybody, but transparent with a few. And
say that one more time.
Yes.
That's important.
You want to be authentic with many.
Yeah.
Right? This is Irene.
Here you are.
This is Andy. This is just us sitting on the couch.
Exactly the same on the couch.
You know what I'm saying? This is just us.
Yeah.
But you transparent with a few. And
That's so good.
And that I want my desire and my hope is that more people would get free individually so that we can create safe space for others to get free.
That's so good.
So if I'm safe, then I'm in turn going to help somebody
Someone
else.
else becomes safe. It's this ripple effect.
A ripple effect.
That brings freedom wherever we
freedom.
go in our spheres of influence.
Yes. And it's never just about me.
Hey, I think we should probably do this together. What do you think?
I think
we should.
Power team.
Yeah. We're in this together. I actually love that as we decided, we knew that this was God, that we sat together as a team with our husbands and with some of the team and broke down the vision and mission that already existed, but clarified it. And I think we should really share that right now.
Absolutely.
So the vision is still the same. It remains. It's she is free. Our heart, right? Period. Our heart is that women would be free, body, soul, and spirit. And that we would look out and see this army of women that are totally and completely free. And so why don't you read the mission that we clarified?
Mission, yes.
Yeah.
She is free exists to engage and equip women to encounter God and expand the kingdom.
That's right. Those 4 E's. So engage, equip, encounter, and expand. So we'll read those through really quick. So engage. We desire to help you, the women listening, engage with a real community of women to walk with on the journey of freedom.
That's right. And we want to equip you.
Yes.
We'll equip you as disciples of Jesus Christ to become more like him daily.
Yeah, and encounter. We want you to encounter him. We will prayerfully create spaces for encounters with God because his presence changes everything.
Absolutely everything. Expand. Our hope is to see you expand the kingdom of God in your sphere of influence here on earth as it is in heaven.
Yes. So engage, equip, encounter, expand. I love how clear that got.
I know.
As we came together. And of course, we could share so much more of what our heart is, but we've got years to do this together.
We absolutely
Years
do.
to build a movement of an army of women that are free. But I do think we should maybe turn towards the camera and look at the ladies and let them know a little exciting piece of news that we have for you. So if it's not exciting enough that Irene and I are going to be leading She is Free together, guess what? We have something we want to tell you. This fall, here in New York City, we have decided we are actually going to gather and have the She is Free conference October 7th through 9th. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. We are so excited. And some of you may be wondering, wait, I already registered. Some of you registered for 2020. Yeah. Guess what? You're already registered for 2021. You have preference. And I need to let you guys know, we can only have a certain percentage in the room because there will still be some restrictions due to COVID. And we're gonna be making sure that we follow all of those guidelines and everything. So some of you are gonna wanna get in there and register because we can only have a certain percentage in the room.
Absolutely.
But why don't you talk about that a little bit too?
We've had the opportunity to travel even during COVID and at women's conferences, at church conferences all over the country. And so we've seen kind of how different states, different counties, different cities handle COVID, and even in our own local churches, and the safety measures that are taken. And I'm a germaphobe, so our first priority is to make sure that the venue is safe, disinfected, we're all wearing masks, we're social distanced, we're even going to group people together when they register. You register as a group and we can group you in a pod of people, sections or whatever.
Or your household.
Or whoever you bring to the conference with you.
And so we're doing everything that we can behind the scenes to make this an amazing experience for you. But I think for us, what we realized is after 2020 and 2021, the amount of isolation that we have all faced, it is time for us to gather together in a room and worship God and encounter Him and be equipped and encouraged to continue to move forward. The truth is, God is doing a new thing, isn't He?
He's doing a new thing.
He's doing a new thing.
Yes,
And we want you to come with us on this journey, on this new thing that He is doing with She is Free. He's doing a new thing in the church. He's doing a new thing in our cities. And so we want you to come and to gather with us. So make sure you register at sheisfree.com. But before we kind of finish tonight, there's this beautiful song called New Thing. And we want our team to sing that over you. And I mean, I don't know if you have a group of girls that you are watching this with, or your roommates, or maybe your husband has snuck in. Hi guys. Because you're like, what's going on in there?
They're new.
But you know, they are, and we love them. And we want to sing over you because maybe this year has it's felt so stripped back. The pruning or the cutting off or the shaking, whatever has happened in your life, it's like, God, what are you doing here? We want to prophesy over you.
Yes.
He's doing something new and He is not finished yet. So get in a position of worship. Maybe you need to just sit there. Maybe you need to stand or even dance around and move, or maybe you just need to lay on the ground and cry. I don't know. Sometimes that's the best.
Whatever feels right.
Yeah, but just let our team just sing over you this song, and then it'll come back to Irene and I, and we'll bring this night to a close.
These are the days that we prayed for. A stirring of faith has begun. And I've seen so much, still I'm certain that the best has not yet come. Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. And I see a wave of revival, preceded by justice and praise. But young and the old run to Jesus, and all the sins that held us back are laid to waste. 'Cause Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. For all I've seen, I still believe you're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing in us right now, in us. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. I know. We sing. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. I know. 'Cause Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. For all I've seen, I still believe you're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. Your love is never gonna give up.
You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. I know, 'cause Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. For all I've seen, I still believe. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing in us. In us. In us. We're ready for what's yet to come. Ready for what you've got next. We're ready for the past to pass. We're running where the future is. It's coming like the rising sun. We want to see your kingdom come do a new thing. Oh, come do a new thing. 'Cause you're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. So come do a new thing in me. In me.
Okay, I love that song. I keep listening to it over and over and over again.
It's on replay.
It really is. It's one of those ones, and I love that line where it says, "We're ready for the past to pass, running where the future is." And I think if you can just get that inside of yourself, like just let the past pass and run into the future with God. Every time I look at you, I'm like, we're running to the future together.
Yes.
And I am blown away. And I think we just have to remember that. He's not done yet. He's not finished yet. He's still working in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we just want to encourage you that you are not alone.
Yeah.
The Lord is with you.
Yeah.
He loves you.
Yeah.
Jesus loves you, just
Yes.
like the nursery rhyme says.
Yeah.
He loves you so. And here's the thing, like, we are better together. Like, we cannot do this life thing alone. So just be encouraged. He loves you recklessly and with abandonment. He loves you extravagantly, and just be encouraged in that.
Yeah. So we really do want you to gather with us. So come be with us here in October. We're praying for you. We are believing for you. We're creating a space for you. We're already dreaming together. We can't stop dreaming about the things we want to equip you with. And so we can't wait to see you this fall here in New York City. We love you.
Love you.
Wow, ladies, what an incredible message from Pastor Andy and Pastor Irene. We told y'all
I know. I'm shook personally.
that it was going to be amazing. Honestly, shook is the only word I can come up with. What an incredible word. And also such a great message about coming together and being together, and how we're better in community and better, followers of Christ as we come alongside one another. I love it. It was an incredible, incredible message. And I'm so excited about everything that is happening with She Is Free. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So it's not just a book. It's not just a conference, but it's a movement, and we want you to be a part. Get connected with us. One of the ways, something exciting, which you may have caught earlier, tell them what's happening this fall.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught this, but we are having a conference that you can register for right now on your screen. There's a QR code somewhere on your screen. So all you got to do is just pull that out. Hannah's already doing it.
I'm registering for conference right now.
Conference is going to be October 7th through the 9th here in New York City. We want you to come from wherever you're from, come together. There's actually a limited amount of space.
Yeah.
So we really need you to register as soon as possible. And a special thing for this weekend only, we're actually giving a special offer for the conference at $139. So if you could just register, either go to sheisfree.com or you can register right now by just clicking on the QR code.
Amazing. We love you guys so much, and we can't wait to connect with you at conference and at other She Is Free nights, all the amazing things happening. We love you, and we can't wait to see you again soon.
You know what? I love you, Hannah.
I love you.
Oh my
Camille.
gosh.
I don't want this to be over.
I know. Friends, forever.
Forever. Bye, guys.
Bye.